Speaking Style, Part 2. I'm trying to learn how to speak more effectively so that people will listen. And I thought I would take a few notes here from our U.S. presidents, because usually when they speak, I don't know, a few million people out there at least listen. So that's a lot more than I think are paying attention to me these days. So we'll start with the first president who was in office when I was born. That's Harry Truman. This quote's attributed to Harry. He was talking about Douglas MacArthur, the general of the army at the time. I didn't fire him because he was a dumb son of a bitch, although he was. MacArthur, he finished as first captain, #1 in academics in his West Point class, but arguably MacArthur made some dumb military decisions. He was pretty arrogant. How about this Truman line? The best way to advise your children is to find out what they want and then advise them to do it. And I think most parents would agree that's very, very sound advice, Harry. And then came Dwight Eisenhower. He was a two-termer, Ike, and he had this great phrase, "We're going to have peace even if we have to fight for it." And of course, America has adopted that as its national policy now. We will maintain and restore and create peace around the planet by fighting for it. We have the biggest military, and by God, we're going to use it. Or how about this one? I love this one from Ike. Any man who wants to be president is either an egomaniac or crazy. And I might add, or both. And then came John Kennedy, and he was very charismatic and first president I really liked. And John had a couple of zingers here. Try this one. You know, nothing's for sure, except for the fact that you know nothing for sure. And that's a popular line that's going around on the internet today. I think he stole that one from one of the Greek philosophers. How about this John F. Kennedy line talking about his presidential election against Tricky Dick? I'll be damned if I'm going to pay for a landslide. Because we all know John F. Kennedy was a little short on cash there. Guy was very frugal. All right. So Lyndon Johnson, now you'll go the other way. One of my least favorite presidents, one of the most disgusting presidents in my opinion. And here's a line that Lyndon actually said one time. I'm going to change the wording of one word here, and you'll understand why. I'll have those niggers voting for the Democrats the next 200 years. Yeah, the niggers, just skip one letter in the alphabet and you'll know the word he was saying. Or how about this? Jerry Ford is so dumb, he can't fart and chew gum at the same time. And Lyndon was possibly on the money on that one. And now Richard Nixon, one that created a lot of drama for us on television during his administration. So we got to hear him speak a lot. Nixon's famous for his line, "When the president does it, that means it's not illegal." Right? Am I right? I'm the president. How can it be illegal? I did it. I added the last part. And of course, a rejoinder to that, or a little addition to that is, I am not a crook. I'm the president. It must be legal. I did it. Okay. And then Gerald Ford assumed office after that. Boy, he sneaked into presidency kind of a roundabout way. Ford's famous for saying one time, Ronald Reagan doesn't dye his hair. It's just permanently orange. Jerry was aware of that because he didn't have any hair, so he was curious about how Reagan's hair looked so good all the time. Jerry Ford said, a government big enough to give you everything you want is big enough to take you for everything you have. And he was in public office for something like 50 years, and he should know. And then came Jimmy Carter from Georgia, the peanut farmer. Jimmy said, testing oneself is best done alone. You ever test yourself? Best done alone. Or Jimmy, who got the Nobel Peace Prize there with the Middle East situation. A couple of Hiroshimas in Israel would be no great loss. No big deal. A couple of Hiroshimas, man. Just try out our latest weapons. And then came Ronald Reagan. Ronnie basically said these famous quotes. It's true, hard work never killed anybody, but why take the chance? And Ronnie, famous for his 7 or 8 1-hour naps every day. And Ronnie also said this famously, and this was live, caught, that he thought was not being broadcast, but it was, and it could have created a little furor. My fellow Americans, I'm pleased to announce I've signed legislation outlawing the Soviet Union. We began bombing in 5 minutes. Sounds like Dr. Strangelove, doesn't it? He wanted to see the Dr. Strangelove war room when he came into office, and then they told him that was just in a movie. There's no such thing. Herbert Walker Bush, the guy who had a dark side. He had 2 dark sides. Nothing light about that guy. I have the opinion of my own, strong opinions, but I don't always agree with them. And I think very few others did as well. Or how about this one that got him unelected the second time, or not reelected? Read my lips, no new taxes. And I think that was a lesson to all future prospective presidents. Don't ever say that again. And then Bill Clinton from Arkansas, good old honest Bill. And he was asked one time about his sexual affairs with Monica Lewinsky, if that is his semen on her dress or something like that. And he says, well, it depends on what the meaning of the word is. And that is the truth. It is a fact. It is what it is. Bill has also said, as he was running for president one time when he was asked about if he'd used marijuana before, drugs, when I was in England, I experimented with marijuana a time or 2. I didn't like it. I didn't inhale. I never tried it again. Good old honest Bill. I'm sure we can believe that one. And then a lot of people's favorite for boners, lapses of the tongue, George W. Bush from Texas. Bush said, our enemies are innovative, resourceful, and so are we. They never stop thinking about new ways to harm our country and our people, and neither do we. I mean, he had Dick Cheney and Rumsfeld there, so, I mean, those guys had it going, you know. 9/11, they knew about it. They caused it. Or how about this one? George W. Bush said, too many good docs are getting out of the business. Too many OBGYNs aren't able to practice their love of women all across the country. Those OBGYNs, you know, they need some penetration every now and then to show their love for the women all across the country. And then Barack Obama, old good old smiling Barack from Kenya, he says, what I was suggesting, it's absolutely right that John McCain has not talked about my Muslim faith. Hasn't talked about it enough. My Muslim faith. Our first Muslim president. Or about this, Barack was one time, being asked some questions, and he got a little irate. Come on, I just answered like 8 questions. What do you think I am, the president? Or one time he was, I guess, trying to have breakfast, and he didn't like being asked questions again. He said, why can't I just eat my waffles? I have a feeling he did, ultimately. And then Donald Trump, a lot of people's favorite president, and a lot of people's, well, and Donald Trump said, I will be phenomenal to the women. I mean, I want to help women. And I think, if anything, we can all agree Donald Trump's career is all about helping women. Or how about this one from Trump, when he was talking about possible negotiations over there with the Russians, Chinese. Why can't we use nuclear weapons? I'm the president. What's wrong with it? Nukes, we got them. Let's use them. And then we come to Joseph Biden. And here's a couple that Biden is famous for having uttered. The good news is that people know me. The bad news is that people know me. So Biden there reading very clearly from the teleprompter. And my last quote here from Joe Biden: we now have over 120 million dead from COVID. I gotta add one more. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women are created by the thing. So there you go, folks. That's my inspiration for speaking more clearly to get people to listen to me, is speak presidential, and maybe the people will follow.